Hey guys, what's going on?
Hey. Hey, Kyle.
What's going on, peeps? What's going on?
How are you?
Hope you guys are good.
Hey, Leah. MK Brock. How are you?
Can you guys hear us, yeah?
How you doing? Hey, Liv. How's it going? Hey.
We are back again.
Leah, I'm not going to lie. I saw your thank you. I saw your post about the chocolate-coated chickpeas.
Jesus.
Seriously?
The enemy
Seriously?
is working
Whew.
somewhere.
Something in me said I'd like to try, but I'm gonna try and hold back. Stick to some salads, eat a fruit.
Too funny. Hey guys, how's it going? Hey Facebook, hope you guys are good.
Don't tell me they're yummy, please, honey. Just don't do that, okay? Where did you get them from, though? No, don't tell me. I don't need to know those.
We don't need to know.
Those kind of things. He loves food. Yes, it's dark chocolate, but sometimes, you know, like recently, and I'd say recently, I discovered Asda. Jesus, okay. Keep me, Holy Ghost, Lord. I discovered the Ferrero Rocher dark chocolate one. It's a problem. I thought I only liked milk chocolate, not so much the white chocolate. The dark chocolate one. It's becoming my favourite. Hi, Nye! How you doing? Hey, Mahalia. How are you, my love? Guys, it's good to have you online with us today.
Indeed.
We are excited to share.
The journey so far. Week 8 peeps.
Yeah, I love those too. Leah, I think we need to continue this offline. So we can talk about our loves.
100.
Yeah. Oh, you see that? He loves food, and I take your word for it because the title is in your Instagram handle. So hey. But yeah, guys, so we're going to talk today about the 40 day. Now, I know we left a bit of suspense there, but really and truly the suspense is just to say that we're excited to share this with you, and it's so weighty. If we give it to you, some people, they might just see the title and just be like, shut up. But we want to build up to it. So today, guys, there's a slight difference. We have been reviewing and looking at the way that we do things, and we love the way the show is so far, but we believe it's a bit too long. So for some of you, you might be a bit disappointed today, but we are trying to shorten it down so that we can get to like main points. So today we're not having 3 questions, we're not having 2 questions, we're just having 1 question. And we're going to trial just having 1 question, because we believe that by the time we get through the questions, it's nearly something to 10 sometimes, and it's mad. So today we're having 1 question. We're going to get through the 1 question, and then prayerfully we're going to move on to the journey so far, and then we go from there. But we've got some exciting news to tell you guys as well today. There's some more exciting things. So oh, Liv, don't that makes us feel bad, because we've been trying to make sure that. Anyway, we're going to trial it, guys, so we'll see. If it doesn't work for us, then hey, we'll go back to just doing the full hour. Hey, Carol, it's lovely to see you. Hey, MJ, Moji in the house.
So just before we start, guys, sorry, my head is down because we're just having a few issues with Facebook and YouTube. But yeah, before we start, those of you that have not joined us before, my name is Ulrich.
I'm Siobhan.
And this is the journey so far. And the whole concept of this whole thing is about sharing our journey. We're celebrating 10 years of marriage this year in September.
We are.
So this is just a forum where we're just coming to just encourage people who are in all types of relationships. And just trying to spread love, spread our wisdom, spread all the things that God has taught us. Some of the little nuggets that He's shown us of how to have better working relationships, whether that be with your spouse, mainly has been the topic so far. But we are going to be moving over to, you know, relationships with your parents and children and work colleagues and all of that lovely stuff. So we want to thank you guys for joining us, and we hope that you enjoy what we're going to be talking about today.
Yes. Okay, so we're going to start off with today's question, and the question is, I'm hoping that you guys saw it today. The question is, how do you handle conflict in marriage?
Yeah.
Now, although the question has been posed about conflict in marriage, it does relate to relationships, it relates in general.
Yeah.
Now, I have to be completely honest with you guys. I was not very good at handling conflict. I didn't grow up with friends that I fell out with. I think I had one cousin, she knows who she is, that we fell out. And we'd make up and we'd fall out, and we'd make up and we'd fall out. But that's about it. I didn't have friends that I fell out with. If I fell out with a friend, we were no longer friends. It like, as I got older, I didn't have that kind of... I didn't know how to argue with someone, but argue nicely. I didn't know how to express my thought and hear their thought and all of that stuff. So when I got to university, I met this amazing person called Afriye, and we were really, really good friends, best of buds, and we went to class, like we were on the same course basically, and we ended up moving in together and all the rest of it. And this was my first friendship, my first real friendship. Hey Shy. Hey Ella. This was my first real friendship that we had real fallouts. And when I say real fallouts, Afriye, she knows the way how we fell out over the years. It was just intense. However, we always managed to make up, and up to now she's still one of my girls. She was my chief bridesmaid. We just got it like that. My sister and I, we don't really fall out like that. We didn't really have that kind of relationship. Me and my sister, we just got along really. We didn't have any beef like that. So learning how to argue and put my opinion across was a new place. So I learned a lot during my time at university. So, and I honestly, and I always say it, my friendship with Afriye taught me a lot about being married to Ulrich. Because when Ulrich and I got married and we had conflicts, I would shy away from it. I'd try to avoid it. I'd try and do everything to stop it from happening. But the truth of the matter is, it needed to take place. I say all of it to say this. Conflict in marriage is natural. It is necessary. It is important. It is something that we can't avoid. And I know that we've spoken about it before, where we've said, there are some couples who say they've never had an argument. Personally, I don't quite understand how you reason, how you arrive at certain destinations basically in your relationship, but it is what it is. Every relationship is different, and I have to respect that. How you handle your relationship is how you handle it. But what I would say about conflict in marriage is, one, it's not something that should be avoided. It's something that needs to be experienced. Two, it's how you maneuver in the listening, in the speaking to each other, in the communication. One thing I remember, I never forget this. We had, myself and Afriye, we had a fallout. And Afriye said to me, Siobhan, you spoke to me like I was somebody out on the street. And I was like, she was like, I'm your best friend. How is it that you had an argument with me and we ended up here? And I was like, what are you talking about? But those words stayed with me, because I was able to see that if you're going to have a fallout with someone, the love that you have for them doesn't change. So a lot of that taught me about when I fell out with Ulrich, or if we had a disagreement, the love that I have for him, it doesn't change. It doesn't go anywhere. He's still the person that I want to spend the rest of my life with. So now it doesn't excuse me to be disrespectful. It doesn't excuse me to be hurtful. It doesn't permit me to go out of my way to do those things. Because this person trusts you and they share things with you, you actually have keys. You have keys to their heart. You have nuggets. You know exactly what's going to push their buttons. You know exactly what's going to hurt them. You know exactly how you can speak to them in a way that's going to lift them up. So one of the things that Ulrich and I mean, we don't swear at each other or anything like that. But when we're falling out or if we're having a disagreement, I'm not going to pretend we don't raise our voices. We do. We need to work on that. We do. However, I'm not going to say something that's going to cut him down and belittle him. And he's not going to say something that's going to cuss me out and all of that kind of stuff. Because at the end of the day, you still love this person. And your love for them doesn't dwindle or any of that kind of thing just because you're having a disagreement at this moment in time. And your children, if you have children at the time, they need to be able to see how you disagree, how you respect each other, how you lift each other up. And I will honestly say conflict in marriage is often about, okay, cool, the two of you have had this disagreement, but how can you arrive at a solid place to both of you learning? Now, you have to be understanding without a shadow of a doubt, because you're coming with however old you are. Let's say for us it was 25 years of doing it one way, 25 years of doing it another way. So you're coming into this household bringing 50 years of difference, if you follow what I'm saying. Some things may be similar, but it's ultimately going to be different. So now your expectation is going to be challenged continuously. I will never forget, one time I asked Ulrich, I think he said he was cooking, and I said, okay, cool, well, defrost the fish, and then, you know, you can do this. And he defrosted the fish, but he defrosted it some different way, and I was like, what are you doing? That's the fish. And he was like, yeah, I know. I've been cooking, like, all my life, and I had to defrost the bloody fish. You know, like, relax yourself, chill. So automatically, the way someone does something is so different. And I'll never forget the first year that we got married. Oh my Lord in heaven, we fell out. We fell out. And it got to the stage that I was just like, Lord, I know I heard your word about this marriage. I know I heard your word about our relationship, but we are falling out a lot. And it intensified the way we loved each other, but intensified the way that we communicated, because we were at each other. And you know, like, one beef hadn't calmed down before our next beef started, and it was just like, what's going on? And I have to say this to any of you who are like looking forward to this wedding. Yeah, the wedding day will be beautiful. It will be. But the truth of the matter is, when you get past that door and you get into the house and the two of you are waking up next to each other, doing things differently, getting on each other's neck because you haven't experienced this, you will soon start to understand what it is to love in spite of all of it. So that's why we keep saying that marriage is about mature people. Not Christian, non-Christian, whatever you want to do, you have to be, it's not for the faint-hearted. You have to be mature about the thing to really value what you're building up, because you don't want it to be that you spend all this time investing in the person just to say a few words and cut them down and mash it up. Because at the end of the day, hey Trace, I spoke about you earlier. You don't want it to be that you build up this thing in this marriage and it's beautiful, only for it to be torn down with a few words. And sometimes we say things that we don't mean, and we say things that hurt our loved one. And whether we intentionally did it or didn't, we have to take ownership of that and apologize and do whatever it is to build it up. And sometimes the truth hurts, but it's how that truth is said. Is it said in love? Is it said with a purpose? Because, you know, there's things that I remember where Ulrich and I, we would be ready for each other. You know, like, I remember we spoke with someone and they were like, yeah, he carries like swords and you carry shotguns. So you take shots, whereas not even shotguns, you carry like a handgun, and he carries a sword and shut the whole thing down and chop off your head, and you're just like... So the point of it is, you both have the ability to hurt each other, but it's how you now determine you're going to choose your words, or you're going to hold back. You're going to, you know, you can say something that's going to shut the thing down, but you actually say, no, I'm not going to say that, because actually if I say that, it's just to win a point. And that's not helpful or supportive, and it's not fruitful for your relationship or your marriage. Another point that we will share, and it's tricky, and I don't by any means say that we have mastered this, because we haven't, but it is understanding when to stop. The beef is going round and round. You shared your point, he shared your point, you're not moving from it. You have to be able to call it and say, you know what, we're not getting to a resolve right now. And I know that some people are like, don't go to bed angry, all of that. Sometimes if the beef starts at 11 o'clock in the night, I need to get to sleep. We've got early morning, we've got to start, so on and so on. We need to call it. We need to go on a timeout and say, all right, cool. One of the things that Ulrich and I said from the very beginning of our marriage is, we don't leave our bed. We don't leave our bed. And I'm not going to lie to you. There have been times that we have left our bed. There's been times where we've fallen out in the night and I've said, right, I'm sleeping on the settee. And the pain that it is to lie down on that settee. Nah. So we made a pact very early in our relationship, and we said, nah, we're not investing in that ministry of separation. If we've fallen out, okay, cool, we've fallen out, but we still stay there in that bed and we lie down next to each other, back to back. I'm vexed with you and you're vexed with me. Fine, let that be it. But we don't move. And it's to reinforce that, although this is a difficult time right here, and calling the time out is just simply saying, you know what? I don't think that we're hearing each other right now. And I don't think that we're going to get to the resolve in the next 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It's getting late. I think we need to sleep and wake up and talk about this, fresh face, fresh head, fresh mind in the morning. And honestly, guys, there is no harm in you going away and thinking about it, thinking about what the person has said, processing your emotion. Because at the end of the day, when you're heated and your emotion's in it and you're both going at it, Jesus of Nazareth. Honestly, the Lord knew how to part the Red Sea, and there are some things that can come out that you just think, nah, this is not helpful. This is not going where we needed to go. So I would urge, I would implore, I would say to any of you, when you're dealing with conflict in your marriage, there's so much in this area here. I mean, Ulrich and I plan to say a whole lot more about conflict, like reoccurring conflicts.
Yeah, that's right.
But I would literally just say to you guys, if you can at all, exercise wisdom, because whilst you're beefing, Jesus, you know what? I think we're gonna have to pause it here, and then
really, I was gonna come in there.
Come in. I was
gonna come in.
Okay,
Sorry guys, I've been a bit silent today. I don't know what's going on with our Facebook and YouTube. We're not able to connect for some reason, so it's not broadcasting. But yeah, hi everyone. I think, to be honest, I think Siobhan has hit the nail on the head. Do you get what I'm saying? Everything that she said is 100% on point. I think from my side, I think the only thing that I can add is learning to forgive quickly. I think this is really at the core of conflict, because the reason why you're conflicting with something is because you're in disagreement. And a lot of times that disagreement is usually founded on because the person has hurt you. You know, so I found that forgiving quickly is something which is essential to resolving conflict. Absolutely. Because for me, coming into the relationship, forgiveness was my issue. That was like my thing, and it stemmed from my relationship with my dad. And I had a load of like emotions and issues that I had not resolved. And so in many cases I was very bitter. And I remember, I'll never forget, you know, Siobhan and I had a conversation once when we were dating, and she point blank just said, you know, I'm not going to marry you if you still have these issues with your dad, right? And I was just like, what? And my back just went up, and I was just like, what are you talking about? That's got nothing to do with me and you in the future. But it made me open my eyes, because I was already in that season of self-discovery, understanding fatherhood, understanding what it means to be a father and all of that kind of stuff, just to kind of deal with my own issues. So when she said that, it kind of just sparked an even bigger fire in me, because I was just like, nah, this forgiveness thing is so important. It's so rooted in everything. Do you get what I'm saying? And even when you look at scriptures, it talks about, you know, having unforgiveness
in your heart
is such a massive sin to God. It's something that God does not like, and a lot of people are going to miss heaven because of stuff in their heart that they haven't forgiven. So forgive quickly. So I think, and I struggled with it. I really struggled with it. Like, easily the first 2 or 3 years, it was like anytime we had a beef or anytime Siobhan did something, because our reoccurring conflict was timekeeping.
Yeah.
And it was a pain to my soul, you know. And like I say in all the other videos, she's a whole lot better, and we've worked through it. But at the core of it, I was hurt, because I was thinking, because I had communicated how I felt about it and what I wanted us to do. When she didn't do it, I felt like it was a direct, you know, like poke at me, and it was just like, no, you meant to do that. You intentionally are going out to hurt me.
It's not that
but
at all.
When we came under counsel, and exactly what she said, you know what I mean? Understanding that when you come into a home, this person that you love has been doing a particular thing for 25, 26, 27, however old you are when you get married.
Yeah.
They've been doing this thing consistently for this amount of time, whether it be good or whether it be bad.
Yeah, it's true.
Do you know what I mean? So how can I expect in 6 months for that to just switch?
Just stop.
It's ridiculous, and it goes into managing expectations.
Yeah.
So I had to learn how to forgive, and it was hard. 2-3 days, I wouldn't talk to her. I'd just be like, whatever. Nah, man, you burnt me, man. You know what I mean?
It's true.
But after the years went on and I matured, do you get what I'm saying? And I started to grow in this understanding of what forgiveness is. It's now a lot easier. Do you get what I'm saying? So when we beef, I don't necessarily take it personal like I used to, because I understand that just because she perceives something a particular way doesn't affect our relationship, and it doesn't affect our connection. Yes, emotions rise, like we go in. Do you know what I mean? A lot of people look at me and think I'm introvert, but I'm actually an extrovert. So when we argue, it's rockers, mate. Do you know what I mean? It's not, oh, but no, I don't want to argue. No, fam. No. We're going for it, bro. Yeah. It's like in the green corner, or in the blue corner, in the red corner. Let's get ready to rumble.
There's no physical. It's not physical like that at all. It's nothing like that.
It's fire.
It's just the full passion, because we're very passionate, very expressive people. So when we're expressing how we feel about something, it does come across, and we've had to learn each other's triggers, each other's points, everything. But what we would say to any person is, conflict resolution is really important, and conflict in marriage is always going to come up. Please don't try and avoid it. Please don't think that your relationship doesn't stand because you have conflict. Not at all. You just have to understand that it's your growing pain. It's part of you developing, and
it's part of you becoming one. Because for you to become one, that's a whole you.
Exactly.
A whole you at 25 or 26 or whatever, trying to become one with a complete, I don't want to say stranger, because obviously you might have known them for like a couple of years.
Yeah, but it's not the same.
Still, that even that word, becoming one flesh. Loaded. Loaded. And a lot of people think that it's just that. And a lot of people think it's sex. And it's not.
It's not.
Because that oneness is physical, emotional, psychological, mental, financial, hospitable, everything.
Generational. It's everything. And like, and that's why we end up spending the whole hour. We could spend the whole hour on this one thing. Conflict in marriage. And I would honestly say to you guys, seek counsel. If it's really getting bad and you're not finding a way to resolve it quickly, and not keep a scorecard, and not keep bringing up each other's wrongs and all the rest of it, if it's really getting out of hand, by all means seek counsel. Marriage counselling is so important. Pre-marriage counselling is the most, like, vital. If you have not had your pre-marriage counselling, whether you're Christian, non-Christian, don't matter. You need that pre-marriage counselling, because there's things that other people spot. You are caught up in the lovey-dovey and the trying on the dress, and how you're gonna look so nice in your suit. All of that is great, but it's like trying to get on a plane and you don't have your passport. You need it. It's imperative.
Yeah, and I think as well, there's such a kind of negative connotation associated with counselling.
Yeah.
And I think it's such a myth that needs to be like destroyed, because just because you go to counselling doesn't necessarily mean that there's an issue. Do you get what I mean? Like, we seek counsel.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? When certain situations that we can't, resolve, or we're finding it difficult to find our way, we seek counsel. We go before people, whether it be our friends, sometimes our pastors. Do you know what I'm saying? Just to get an understanding, because no marriage is an island. That's what I say. Obviously, you have to know who is speaking over your marriage and who's directing you. But no marriage is an island. Like, you can't do it necessarily by yourself. You need other people who are preferably years ahead of you, who have been married for longer than you, to be able to explain certain things. And I think both people need to be open to changing, because I think that's really key, because sometimes you can go to counselling but you're not ready to change, because you just want your point to be made, and that's it.
That's right.
But marriage is such a mirror. Somebody said to us quite a number of years ago that marriage is a mirror, because it shows you your true self. And sometimes when you see your true self, it's sometimes hard to take. Do you know what I mean? And especially for the guys, look, it's not a negative thing to go to counselling, because what you don't want is there to be a fire and then you're calling for the fire brigade after the fire's already burned up everything. You're better off going fireproofing your relationship before, to avoid any fires happening. Do you know what I mean? So wherever you are right now, whatever conflict that you're experiencing, you have to seek help. Do you know what I mean? Hit us up if you need us to help in any way. But if you have people within your own network, just talk, man. I keep saying it over and over again. Communication is the key. If you cannot communicate, you're going to struggle. And the worst thing that you want is to have a marriage where you're living in resentment.
Oh God, no. That is absolutely one of the worst. You hit the nail on the head.
Living in resentment. It's awful, man.
It has no place in your marriage, in your relationship. I tell you what, it's a weed. It is a weed that just grows through it, and it just ruins so much. So guys,
absolutely, man.
Conflict is one of those things that we can't shy away from it. We have to go through it. You can't avoid it. You need to just come through it and learn from it.
And also, sorry, I just, like we said, we could talk about this for ages.
It could take the whole hour.
But you have to separate the issue from the person. I'll say it again. So you have to separate the issue from the person, because the fact of the matter is, you fell in love with the person. You accepted the issue, but don't combine the issue with the person. Jesus loves us. But he hates sin. He hates the things that we do, but he loves us. So he separates the sin from us, and he says, actually, when you do drop off, I've given you an antidote, which is grace. Do you understand? But my love for you never changed. And that's exactly the same principle that we need to apply. We need to give our partners or our spouses the grace antidote, that they're not perfect. Do you know what I mean? Because we're not perfect.
Absolutely.
Do you understand? So as we are loving each other,
so deep.
As we are loving each other, that love, that's why it's unconditional love. Because when we take that issue and we separate it from the person, we still need to be able to connect with, I need to be able to connect with Siobhan. Although I know there's this one thing about you that drives me up the wall.
You're preaching. And you know, cool. So you're going into something else now, because
go on,
okay,
come
guys,
on,
this is the next topic. No.
Tag it, man. Tag it. What?
This is a topic that we've got in a couple of weeks.
Okay, cool.
So, like, I need to shut. I'm so sorry, but you're actually going into what we've got for the next couple of weeks. So we need to just hold fire here.
Okay, 40 day.
40 day. Guys, this week we're talking about the 40 day.
40 days, okay, guys. Journey so far, let's go.
The journey so far, 40 day. But we'll come back to this question and address it in a couple of weeks when we get to it. So, guys, the 40 day is actually, like last week, it said, is that where you're stopping it? It is not supposed to just be the 40-day. It's actually the 40-day devotion. Okay. Now, what happened was, we were about 3 months into dating, maybe 4 months into dating, and Ulrich was still kind of, anyway, and we said,
That's
what?
Right. But go on, carry on.
We said, let's spend some time before God. Let's commit this relationship before God.
Yes.
And a lot of it was to discover where things are going.
Yeah.
So what God laid on our heart was to say, okay, we needed to really just, we were getting ahead of ourselves with the lovey-dovey with the dating and so on and so on.
Yeah.
But what we hadn't done is we hadn't spent as much time as we wanted to sitting before God.
Yeah.
And we really wanted to see what God wanted to do with us.
Yeah.
So we prayed about it, and God said, okay, I want you to do a 40-day devotional. Now, I had never done a devotional before in my life, so I didn't know what it was. But what God, he gave us really clear, strict instructions that it was just straightforward.
Yeah.
He said, for 40 days, I want the two of you to wake up at 6 a.m. and pray. Read a scripture and talk about it. I'm like, okay, cool. God also said, for the first 7 days, I want you guys to fast. And for the last 7 days, I want you guys to fast. So open it with a fast, end it with a fast. I'm like, okay, God, however you see fit, we will do this. And we had never done anything like this. We'd never heard of anybody or any relationship doing anything like this. So we sent the information that we believe that God was saying to us to a couple of pastors, a couple of people that we were accountable to, and we just said, okay guys, this is what we believe the Lord is saying. And they were like, listen, power to you guys, yeah, go for it. The very first day, God said to us, Isaiah 66.
Yes, ma'am.
Isaiah 66, he said,
Heaven is my throne.
Yeah.
And earth is my footstool.
Yeah.
Where is the place that you build onto me?
Yeah. Now, this word shook us because we were just like, But the revelation that God gave to us afterwards, and this is why it really brought us together, because we started to unpackage the word.
Yeah.
So every morning at 6 a.m. God would give us a different scripture. We didn't even know what scripture it would be. But the first day he said, where is the place that you're building for me to dwell? And it resonated with us. So for our wedding, all of our hashtag was building a place for God to dwell.
Building a marriage.
Building a marriage for God to dwell.
Yeah.
Building a home for God to dwell. Building a ministry for God to dwell. Everyone's just God. Dwell. Dwell, Lord.
Oh, us Christians.
But do you know what it was? What shook us with that word was building a place. Like God wanted a seat in our relationship, and he wanted to be in the center.
Yeah.
And it transformed the way that we looked at our relationship.
100%.
Because straight away we were very much aware, okay God, if we've invited you to be in the center of this relationship, you have to lead it, you have to direct it, you have to, what we do in it must be honorable. Everything, the album, the ministry areas, everything that we were doing, it needed to be God led. And so God took us down the road of purpose.
Yes.
So basically, and before I touch on purpose, I just want to break down a bit about when we were actually doing the 40-day.
Yeah.
When I tell you guys, like, cross the eye, 6 a.m., you'd wake up at 10:02 and be like, all right, cool.
And it didn't matter where you were.
It didn't matter where you were
traveling, because I think like the last month.
Yeah, the last
you were in
week,
Cuba or something.
Last few days, we had travelled to Cuba. Me, Efrae, and a few others. We had gone to Cuba, and Ulrich and I were still doing the 40 days. So I'm waking up at 6 a.m.
Finding the time difference. Yeah, man, we were running it.
Running the time difference. It was just mad, but we needed
that foundation.
We needed that foundation. It helped us to understand each other and how we broke down the word, and it also helped us to really understand what God wanted for us to be doing.
and even where we were at,
yeah,
like biblically,
yes,
in terms of our understanding,
of
in
the
terms
word.
of what things meant, because a lot of times we would wake up and literally I would ask Siobhan, like, have you got a scripture in your heart?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And she would just be like, and then she'll be like, Ezra 3:10, and then we'll go there and it's like,
and honestly, guys,
and it was
Ezra
just like,
3:10, I'd be like, the book of Ezra, I couldn't even tell you where it is right now. I know there is a book of Ezra. I couldn't tell you, like, I'd read the Bible, but I couldn't tell you what every scripture said.
Yeah.
So it was like Ezra 3:10. Where is that coming from? But God was speaking. So we turned to Ezra chapter 3 verse 10 and we'd be like, and it would be a word and God would be unpackaging it and unpackaging it. And when I say, there were two main points that God spoke to us about almost every single time.
Yeah.
Relationships or worship. That was it. Categorically, we would continually come back to praise and worship or marriage and relationships. God will take us to so many different places, different scripture, and every time it was just resonating that he was speaking to us. So much of what we're doing now
or have done in the past,
and have done in the past,
the album, all that kind of stuff,
everything, it came from
that 40
day.
Even this,
yeah,
it was all there.
This manifestation
3 months into dating.
3 months into dating. This is not in marriage. This is not so.
Because another topic that we're gonna do is what to do in the waiting.
Ooh.
Jesus of mercy. Because that's 10 years, guys. Actually, it's more.
It's more. It's way more.
It's like 13, 12, 13. Huh, can you wait 13 years?
For something to manifest.
My
but
God.
this right here is the manifestation of that word that God placed in us. So we already knew from back then that God gave us some things to do. And it kind of goes back to what Icy said. So I don't know if any of you were listening in, but we were invited on 21 Questions, the sit down, last week Thursday. And one of the questions that Icy asked us, shout out to Icy, thank you so much for inviting us.
That's dope, man.
Was, have you two ever considered getting a divorce?
Jesus.
And we were able to say categorically, no way.
Yeah. Like nobody's
Absolutely.
actually asked us that question before.
No way.
Yeah, man. It's crazy.
But the point for us was, not as yet, Auntie Carol, what
we will do.
What really stood out for us was, because we had spent so long in the 40-day, we knew that there was something that God had laid on our hearts to do.
Yeah. There was purpose.
Yes.
That was it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like that 40-day, as much as I was struggling, and I think my struggle that Siobhan referred to earlier on, my struggle was more because of my immaturity about her weaknesses.
Yeah.
Because the timekeeping thing was really bothering me, as you can clearly, see from what I've been saying. Because I was just like, I don't know if I can live with this thing. And that's one of the things that we always say to people who are in relationships, that there's always going to be one thing, minimum, one thing that is going to drive you up the wall about the person. But you have to decide, are you going to live with it? So, yes.
So basically, when we were talking about purpose,
Yes.
what we discovered from the 40-day devotion was purpose.
Yeah.
Now, I remember when Ulrich had asked me, what's your ministry? At the time, I didn't know my ministry. And I hadn't really discovered what my purpose was. So today, we want to say to anybody out there, if you do not know your purpose, it's not too late. It's not the end of the world, but you can discover what your purpose is. Now, purpose is important because the lack of purpose creates more problems down the line. What does Miles Monroe say?
He says,
Dr. Miles Monroe.
Yeah, Dr. Miles Monroe. Without the purpose of a thing, abuse is inevitable. So meaning that if you don't know the purpose of whatever it is that you're handling, you're going to abuse it.
Yeah.
And I think that quote for us has just been an echo into our generation.
Yeah.
Because I think so many of the things that we do, so much of the issues that we have today is because of a lack of purpose, a lack of understanding why something was actually created.
Yeah.
And I think within relationships, this is not really something that people talk about.
Yeah.
And it's so important because a lot of people talk about the physical things or, you know, financial, and all of those things are very, very important.
Yeah.
But at the core
Yeah.
is understanding who you are
Yeah.
and who both of you are together.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Because I think when Icy asked us that question about did you ever consider divorce, the reason why we were so bold and confident that we had never actually considered it was because we were everything that we did was founded in purpose. So we actually know what we are both here to do together.
Yes.
And because that was a God-given thing,
Yes.
how are you going to bail out on that?
Yeah,
because
you haven't seen
things
the
get
fullness.
hard financially.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't make sense
Yeah.
because, and that's why I always urge people, find a godly purpose.
Yes.
Because when God gives you the purpose,
Yeah.
it seals the deal.
Yeah.
When you create purpose for why you think you should be with someone,
Yeah.
then it's very easy for you to walk away from
Yeah.
it because there's nothing that is even convicting you
Yeah.
to stay.
Yeah.
Because you're just like, this is long. It's not fulfilling my needs. It's not
Yeah.
fulfilling my expectations.
It's past its season.
It's past
It's
its season.
expired.
It's expired. See you later. I'm out.
Yeah.
But when God gives you purpose, when He says, look, this is what I want the two of you to do in the earth,
Yeah.
that is,
There's nothing like it.
that's your foundation.
Yeah.
Do you understand? And that's why we love quoting, I think it's 1st or 2nd Corinthians 3 verse 10, where it says, no other foundation can be laid than that of Christ Jesus.
Yes.
Because Christ is our foundation.
Yeah.
He's our rock.
Yeah.
So once we put Him at the center, everything that we build, even if it does get hard, when you have Christ at the very center of it,
Yeah.
you're going to come out as pure gold.
Yeah.
You're not going to
be able
burn in
get
the
through
fire.
it. Yeah.
Do you understand? Even though it's 7 times hotter. Because
Yeah.
listen, we can talk about
The fiery seasons.
the fiery seasons of our marriage. Do you understand what I'm saying? And that's why I always say, look, marriage is for mature people. It's not for wimps. It's not for people, do you know what I mean, who just want a touchy-feely thing, who just want somebody on their arm, who just want to get out of the burden of their parents saying, why are you not married? Like, it's so much bigger than our limited thinking.
That's right.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And there's even things that we've been able to do that God has just blown our minds.
Yeah.
And He's just like, this is why I've put the two of you together.
Yeah.
So that you can produce this.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you can't even limit your purpose as a couple to what you can think.
Yeah.
Because He says that He does exceedingly and abundantly
Preaching.
above
That's right.
all that we could ever ask or
That's
think.
right.
So
That's right.
even in your marriage and understanding why the two of you have been put together, there's so much more that God wants to do.
Absolutely.
Do you understand? To be a blessing to other people. So,
Yeah.
oh, sorry guys, felt the glory. Had to just go with it. But
One of the things we have to say, guys, is when you're understanding purpose, you have to understand that it works in three parts.
Yeah.
Which is so amazing because there's Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, and there's also your purpose, the person's purpose,
Yes.
and then your joint purpose.
Yes.
I.e., Siobhan has a purpose, Ulrich has his own purpose, and then we have a unified purpose. We have a joint purpose.
Yeah.
God put me on this earth to do something. Whether Ulrich came into my life or not, God put me here to do something. And it's not some mystical thing, it's not some big old thing.
Yeah.
It is something that I do without thinking.
Right.
Your purpose is not something you have to think about, you have to worry about, none of that.
It's something that you do without being motivated to do it.
You just do it.
And sometimes you want to, you've probably been thinking, what's my purpose? What my purpose? But actually, you've always known what your purpose is because you do it instinctively.
Yeah. So, I have my purpose. Ulrich has his purpose. And then God says, right, now there's something that the two of you are going to establish in the earth. There's something that I want the two of you to come together and do. Not just to get married, have great sex, and eat great food. No.
And live in big houses.
That
so
is,
much more than that.
That is like the crumbs, you know.
That's like a window. If you're building a house, that's just the window.
Yeah.
But there's so much
there's
more.
so much more. God actually has the two of you do something.
Yeah.
And it may not be to, like, for us, yes, we know that our ministry is in worship, in praise and worship, and we know that our ministry is in speaking on relationships and so on and so on. Not so for us, whether we're doing something on the screen in front of everybody or behind closed doors, we're still operating in that purpose.
100%.
So, for example, counselling and speaking to people and pouring into them with their relationships, that for us is still us operating in our purpose. We want to see people, marriages, relationships work out. We want to see people be happy. We want to see people progress in that area. So we're spending that time pouring into them because we know that it results in something that is still returning to what our purpose is, to be here on the earth. So I say all of that to say your purpose can have different factors to it, like different avenues that it manifests. So whether us speaking on relationships or singing about love or
because it comes out through your giftings.
Exactly.
Your purpose is really who you are.
Yeah.
A lot of people think that your purpose is something that you do. It
Yeah.
is, but your purpose is actually who you are.
Yeah.
Do you understand? And then now what you're called to do, because your calling is not necessarily your purpose. So you can be called to preach, but your purpose may be to unite people.
Yes.
Just to give perspective. So even you may be a worship leader, you may be a painter, you may be an architect, you may be an engineer, you may be a cook.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Or a chef, rather. So all of those giftings, your purpose sifts through all of those things.
Yeah.
So you can never be limited by your gifting. Because a lot of people box people or put people in boxes because of their gifting. Just because you're a great singer doesn't mean that that's where you stay. That's just an avenue for your purpose to now come to the earth.
Absolutely.
Do you understand?
Absolutely.
So never limit your purpose to the things that you are able to do.
Yeah.
Always ask God, what is my actual purpose? What am I, if I was never getting paid to do this thing or to do this job or to do this thing that I do, what would I do?
Yeah.
Do you understand? So guys, wherever you are in your relationship, because I know there's some married people and non-married people that are watching us.
Yeah.
Wherever you are right now, if you haven't done it already, begin to pray about your purpose and your unified purpose.
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you guys, when you find that out, when you allow God, I should say, when you allow God to reveal that to you,
absolutely,
you will be able to stand on a footing that it doesn't matter what happens.
That's right.
You'll be able to say divorce is not an option. Do you understand? Because it was never built on me.
Yeah.
It was never built on my feelings. It was never built on my senses. It was built on a word.
Yeah. And that word, if you have not seen it come to pass, it will not return unto God void. It will not go back to God empty. What God says has to be established. It has to come to pass. So it's like, I can't be saying, I'm going to walk away now when we haven't arrived at the destination. That's like me saying to Ulrich, right, we're going to drive down to my mum's. My mum lives in Leighton. We live in Basildon. And then we get to the M11 and we just say, nah, it's long. And we turn back. Sorry, you were going somewhere and you're going there for a reason. Yeah. So you stop halfway and then you say, nah, it's long, and you come back. No, there was a purpose. How are you going to get to the end? So for us, and we say this to anybody in your relationship, this is what gives you staying power. This is what helps you to push through. Another thing that I just wanted to mention to you guys is, when you know your purpose and when the two of you have walked in that, it makes things easy. If you don't know your purpose and if you don't know the other person's purpose, it makes it difficult because let's say God says, right, I want for you to go and speak to people in Japan and work with this type of people or work with the homeless in Japan. And then somebody else's purpose is to raise a family and be a home buddy and like you have a completely different purpose. How does that purpose now join together to be a unified purpose? Because then your heart is calling to be in Japan, this person's heart is calling to be in England, and the two of you have this difference. You have these conflicts, and it's going to be a residual. What's the reoccurring conflict? Because you're expecting to do one thing and the other person wants to do another thing, and then the two of you keep going up head to head. So we say all of that to say, when you know your purpose and you get with another person, speaking about purpose from the beginning is really important, because then it helps you guys to understand, okay, where are we going? Because Ulrich, from the beginning, we knew that we were called to speak to people. So if Ulrich had said to me, nah fam, my heart is to build some mud huts in Indonesia and like do some jungle roaming, I'd be like,
fam, see you later.
please, because
It's not gonna work.
that's not my heart. That's not where I feel the tugging that the Lord is leading. So when you don't know your purpose,
Yeah.
and then this person doesn't know their purpose, and the two of you get together, it makes it a bit more difficult. You're reacting rather than seeing the focus from the beginning. So in all of what we've said, guys, we really want to hone in on the importance of knowing your purpose, of understanding your purpose, and actually speaking about it from early on to identify what's your unified purpose, what's the purpose of the two of you being together.
And I would even go so far as to say, do not marry for love, marry for purpose. And let God and let love grow.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't marry for love,
Yeah,
marry for purpose, and let love grow.
because it will easily.
Because I've heard so many guys say that they weren't in love with their wives when it started, but they believed that this was the woman that they were supposed to be, and love grew.
Yeah.
Because when you marry for love, especially, and when we say love in that context, I'm talking about sometimes the feeling of love.
Yeah.
When the feeling dies, what happens to the marriage? Sorry guys, it's late, we have to go. We promised that we wouldn't be late. So we didn't want to even touch 50 minutes. So it's too much, man. I don't know how to do this thing. Like, we've been talking about this all the time. How do we keep our stuff short and sweet? And I'm not doing all of this editing stuff that people do. I'm not, not cussing at them. They do a really good job.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? All the editing and cutting out all the bad moments and putting half-an-hour clips. I can't do it. Let's talk. But we have to go, guys.
Yeah. We're trying to be obedient.
Yes. We have to. We're going to be on a show.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. We're
Come
here
back next week. Get out of my head, babe. So what are we going to say now? What are we doing?
This
Sunday.
We have been invited back to
Carol Barlow.
Yeah, Carol
Conversation with Carol.
Yes, conversation with Carol. It's another international engagement, so we're really excited to share again. There is a new topic. There's a whole bunch of new topics that we're going to be talking on. So guys, definitely join us. We're going to be posting about it, so you guys will see. We
100.
are back next week. So next week is going to be slightly different.
Tell the people.
Okay, guys.
Oh, pray for us, Pray for us, please. There's so much. There's so much.
Okay, next week.
You got 1 minute.
1 minute. Next week, we are not going live from the Cokers.
So what now?
We are officially going live from To Love
Collective.
So if you have not followed us, liked it, so on and so on, find it. To Love Collective. It's not the word 2, but the number 2.
Yeah.
Follow us, and we're going to go live from To Love Collective. Now we're going to do something slightly different. So we decided that we're going to do something called Straight to the Point. And Straight to the Point is going to be slightly different to the journey so far. When we do the journey so far, we're talking about the journey, and when we're going straight to the point, we're going straight to the point. So guys, next week Tuesday, 9 p.m, same time, not same place, but same time, same day.
Same place, Instagram,
yeah, but it's not from the Cokers. It's from
To Love Collective. So follow, tell your friends, follow.
Yes. Because
we will not be here on We Are the Cokers.
No.
All right. What are we going to talk about, babe?
It's going to be slightly
What's the
different.
topic?
It is competing and completing.
Wow.
Okay, guys.
Competing and completing. Hey, but sorry,
Okay, guys. So
I promise I wouldn't.
we've got so much to
outburst
share
of the
on this
script.
one. It is.
Yeah, we might even
it's
go for
weighty.
2 weeks.
It's weighty.
Might even
Competing.
get someone on.
Let's just competing and completing.
Yeah, we're gonna leave it there.
We have to leave it there, guys.
Guys, love you guys so much. Thank you
Yes,
so much.
we
You
do.
could have been watching Netflix.
You could have been watching Disney.
Could have been watching Prime, but you decided to be here with us today, and we
Thank you
really
so
appreciate
much.
you guys. Seriously, thank you for tuning in, and
Love you too, Daniel.
yeah, share it with other
Yes,
people. The rebroadcast.
yes,
I think
yes.
Instagram allows you to put the whole thing onto
Yes.
IGTV, so we will be doing that.
Yes.
So guys, have an incredible evening, and yeah, we
Yeah.
will see you next week.
And
Oh,
we're
see
so
you on
sorry.
Sunday, 4
Yeah,
p.m.
Sunday 4 p.m. Bye, guys.
Coke
Enjoy
is
the rest
out.
of your week. See
Bye.
you. Bye.